Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We get to talk about one of my favorite topics and subjects, coffee. So we are joined by Jesse and Alta Keller, the owners of Coffee Cart. How are you two doing?
Doing
So good.
well.
Amazing. How are you?
Doing well. So as I mentioned, I love coffee. I live off of coffee at this point. So it's one of those that any chance we have to talk about it, can't talk about it enough. But give us a little bit when you talk about you two being kind of a dynamic duo and just where you got this idea. Give us a little bit of history and then we'll dive into all the amazing experiences that you deliver through coffee.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we started in 2014, so quite a while ago when we were based in Minneapolis. We started Coffee Cart Minneapolis, and we thought it was an awesome idea, and we thought, man, could we bring the culture of great coffee shops to people's events? So we just kind of built out a cart, and we're like, man, this will at least be fun. And it just turned into this thing that grew into a full-time thing, and it grew and served tons of coffee to lots of people. And now we're in Nashville, and we have Coffee Cart Nashville. It's still running up there in Minneapolis, and super fun, like kind of partnering with the local coffee scene and really helping like bring that to people's events. You know, when people don't expect to get a great coffee at their office or something like that, you know, we just can bring it in there for them, you know, which is pretty cool. So,
And I feel like there's two kind of trends. One is just the coffee trend. And like you said, the local roasting scene, that's one piece of this. So really good quality coffee. And then the other one is, like you said, the experience of being able to bring it in where a lot of these events, you're able to add a whole new, literally energy level to it by coming out and then adding all these customizations. And whether that's through like even the cold brews and obviously the cappuccinos and the lattes and those sides, but you're able to kind of infuse all these different experiences with very, delicious coffee.
Yeah. One thing we love the most about it is the personal connection of being in someone's at someone's important event. So we do a lot of private events like weddings and parties, and then also corporate things. But the personal connection of being able to just make someone's event so much more special and just a really fun, unique addition has been really, really, really sweet. And kind of partnering alongside of people to bring just a cool aspect to whatever they have planned for that day. I think coffee has such a unique way of bringing people together. It's easy to talk about. I mean, a lot of people drink it. There's a lot of different ways and styles of coffee that people enjoy. So it's kind of an easy icebreaker, and it seems to just kind of bring people together. So that's been really awesome.
even people at events who don't drink coffee,
Yeah.
I mean, we have options for them too, but it's almost like they love the experience of what's happening just as much as people who are ordering 5 cappuccinos, you know?
Sure. Which would be me. Talk about, because you mentioned the local coffee roaster scene. And so whether it's Humphrey Street, you have Stay Golden, Coast Coffee Roasters. Talk about kind of the partnership on that side of working with the local roasters and being a little bit of a face forward for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we lived in Minneapolis for a long time, and we really loved the coffee scene there. We kind of knew our favorite shops. And so when we first started, we reached out just to our favorite roasters and asked, hey, can we buy wholesale from you? And we had a couple that just really took us under their wing and helped us get set up and trained us and how to brew it the best. So when we moved to Nashville about 2.5 years ago, we started to just kind of feel out the coffee scene here and came across obviously Humphrey Street and Coast and Stay Golden. And honestly, all of them have been, yes, wonderful coffee, but also wonderful people. And we've loved the attitude and the people behind each of those companies. And a lot of roasters don't have the capability to do any sort of pop-up events, but there are people who are asking them, hey, can you come to my wedding? Can you come to my office? And they don't have the ability to do that.
Or it's not worth their time to just, figure it out for one or two events.
For it. So it's been really cool for them to say, hey, we don't do that, but we actually partner with Coffee Cart. They would do it and they would serve our coffee. So you'd still get the same experience that you would in our shop. So it's been a really great way for them to get their name further out into the Nashville area and really serve the people that either don't know about them, or the people who love their coffee and frequent their shops regularly. Or like Coast Coffee is a small batch roaster. They don't have a shop. So we've just loved getting to represent them, just getting their
Yeah.
coffee into people's hands who've never heard of them, and hopefully growing their business as well.
Well, in a cool way, you become the brand forward for them.
Mhm.
Like you said, kind of putting their brand out there, providing that experience that, to your point, it's not easy for them just to pull all those strings together and deliver that experience where you can. And then in a way, you almost become the taste tester too, where it's like, this is their first chance to try a new brand. And all of a sudden they fall in love. And then that brand now has a customer. So it really is a win for everybody on all sides.
Yeah. Yeah. I was doing an event like a month back, and there was people from out of town at this business, like they had just flown in for a meeting or something, and they were drinking Stay Golden from me. And they were like, oh man, I was looking for great coffee while I'm here. And I was just able to say, well, they're local. They're actually 2 minutes from the hotel that you're staying. So swing by before heading back to the airport or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun serving a local coffee, packing up the event, and then we walk into the same shop whose coffee we serve, just to like enjoy the shop and the store, because we love being a part of the shop as well, you know?
Yeah. Well, in a way, this isn't a competition. It's a collaboration, and you're
Yeah.
able to really kind of further the cause. And when you look at like Humphrey Street, which is really mission driven on their end, very much is a kind of a nonprofit institution in terms of the way they operate. That's a powerful way to give back as well and to further their cause. So I just think on all ways, you're really doing a lot of good in a very creative way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Give us, kind of, because I like on your website, you make it very easy. They can pick, what the head count is. And so you kind of put it all out there and you make it very simple, but talk about how it works. So in other words, if someone says, hey, I want to do this, where do they start? How does it start? What are the options? Walk us through that process.
Yeah. They would just hop on our website, which is coffeecartnashville.com. And the main packages are laid out there, like you said, pretty simply. And then on our website, there's a little button that says check availability. When you click on that, it brings you to a form that just asks you a few questions about your event and what you're looking for, like how many people, what kind of event is it, what are you looking for? Are you looking for an espresso bar, or are you just looking for like a cold brew bar, or just pour over coffee?
Mm-hmm.
And you can check those options, which sends us an email, and then we just respond to that saying, great, this looks like what you are wanting. I'll give you a few more details of here's what our menu always includes. Here's what we bring, and we bring everything. So we bring our cart, which means we have our own water hookup. We have our own just like plug. All we need is an outlet. We bring everything: equipment, supplies, condiments,
Coffee.
Minor detail.
So we literally just need an outlet and space to set up. We usually arrive about an hour prior, get set up, and then serve. Most of the events range from 2 to 3 hours, depending on how many people you're wanting to serve, but everything is customizable. If you're like, hey, I want somebody here all day long, we can do that. And we just go from there. And the packages are all, based off of head count and time frame, and it's all catering like, where you just pay up front. So we give away coffee for free to your guests or your employees, whatever.
Yeah.
Know when they're checking availability, like they already know what the price is, which is different than a lot of catering options out there. You have to submit a form and you have to wait to hear back from someone.
Yeah.
So it's very streamlined and simple for people to just be like, I want coffee tomorrow. Cool. Well, let's see if they're available,
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And then I like the fact that you even say on there, with a 10% overage, just to make sure. So you put it all out there in terms of very, very easy on the financial side, and then just the head count and what to expect.
Yeah.
Totally.
What are some trends when you look at flavors and just, seasonality? What does that look like? I mean, obviously with the hot weather, then it's cold brews probably more kicks in. What are just some of those trends that you see throughout the year?
Yeah. We always do a seasonal drink on the menu, so it changes obviously throughout the year. In the summer, it gets so hot here that we do a lot of cold brew, and we do a pretty big cold brew menu. So we'll do like a cold brew menu that has a cold brew latte. So it's a cold brew concentrate mixed with milk. And we'll add a fun flavor, like we do a lavender latte for summer. So yeah, if it's hot, we do lots of iced drinks. In the winter, we love to do like,
Eggnog around Christmas time,
yes,
eggnog
Yeah.
days.
yeah, we do. When we kind of are always experimenting too. That's kind of one of the fun things about managing and having a team of baristas who a lot of them have also worked at
It's kind of
shops.
like, what do we want to be drinking
Yeah.
right now?
Right. Well, I was just about to say, selfishly, you two can just like, hey, let's try this. Let's do this. Let's do this. And it becomes this like never ending fun experiment of flavors.
Yeah. Our manager in Minneapolis, he has so much coffee experience as well. So he will always be sending us recipes like, hey, try this. I did it up here and it was awesome. And so we're kind of always exchanging
The
ideas.
last crazy one was an orange fennel latte.
Yeah,
Is that what it
orange
was?
fennel mocha,
Orange fennel mocha.
which sounds kind of crazy and weird.
Sounds kind of gross, but it was
It
amazing.
was delicious. Yeah. So yeah, it's very fun experimenting.
What advice would you give just for all the at-home connoisseurs in terms of if they're going to raise their game a little bit, what would be just a simple bit of advice for raising their coffee game a little bit? And the self-grinding
yeah.
and some of that for you get the fresh flavor. But what's one of your favorite things when you're making your coffee at home?
I think the easiest first step, like not including any sort of equipment purchases, is just buy good coffee.
Yeah.
Which, you know, there's like the culture of, man, do I just get my coffee at the grocery store or, you know, and part of me is like, oh man, $18 for a pound of coffee versus like 13 or 14 from the grocery store. But
Yeah.
A, like you can support a local company, and B, the quality of the coffee that you're going to be
The
getting
freshness.
and the freshness of it for sure is going to take that level like way up. That's going to be the quickest thing. Of course, then you might want to jump into a better grinder or, you know,
grinder.
a burr grinder and different methods. I mean, we have a shelf and a drawer filled with coffee stuff right now. And yeah, so I mean, you can choose whatever type of brew method you like, but we've been loving using the Clever method lately, which is kind of like a cross between a French press and a pour over, which is super easy. And my dad is not very snobby at all about coffee, but he loves that, and so I got him hooked on that. Yeah.
What's the secret when you talk about cold brew? Is it the concentration? Is it the beans? Like what's a good just kind of secret to cold brew?
Well, we typically will brew our own, so we'll like get great local coffee, and then we have like, it's called a toddy, TODDY, and then we'll cold brew it for 12 to 18 hours, and that turns into a concentrate. So then it's just experimenting with, oh, if I just like it black, I'm just going to mix it with water, or if I want a latte, I mix it with milk. And yeah, I think just having good coffee and making sure it's like cold brewed long enough is kind of the key there. And then it's kind of the wild west. You can kind of do whatever you want with it, and it's pretty cool. Like you can just keep a half gallon of concentrate in the fridge, and you want a nice coffee, and you just take it out. And yeah,
that's what we've been doing, especially during quarantine, where we're not going out very much, so we are doing all of the things to stay caffeinated at home.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask is, obviously events right now are different and tough, and so many of them, almost all of them, are on hold, obviously, especially the larger ones. But, where are you in that picture? And obviously once things normalize, this becomes a really good opportunity. But where are you in that picture of just COVID-19 and how that's obviously affecting you all?
Yeah, I mean, it has obviously drastically affected us, or we don't have anything on our calendar for the last 2 months. And it's been sad for our team. We have, just hourly paid baristas, so they are out of work. So yeah, that's been pretty devastating for them. I'm hoping that in the next couple of months things change and people start doing more events. It'll be interesting to see when corporations are back in their offices, if they are wanting to, if they have the budget to bring anything in or anything like that. I don't know. And summer is a lot of like private events for us, so that's also tricky. We do like weddings
parties,
and graduation parties.
Yeah.
It's difficult navigating how do we keep our business afloat during this time, because I know it won't be like this forever, but in the meantime, can we make it happen? And thankfully, I mean, there's, different grants and loans you can apply for right now, but I think everyone's in the same boat. But I have really loved seeing how other small businesses and coffee shops have been creative of how do we stay afloat and what are some things we can do still during this time. And that's been really inspiring.
Like Stay Golden, for example, have just been champs through this.
Yeah, they're, offering like dinner packs and different creative ideas.
Cocktail kits and all of this stuff,
Yeah, we haven't done really anything like that with our business model, but I am inspired by other companies who are. So right now we're okay, and hopefully this won't last forever.
Well, like you said, we're all in this together. We're all having to weather the storm and the crisis and figure out kind of what the new norm is for right now. And, hopefully, like you said, everything will go back to a normal for everybody, because we fall in the same category. When you look at the event side, all of that is dramatically different right now. And so, everybody is in it together, and that's the good. And it's also the bad in terms of kind of getting through it together and just figuring out how do we persevere so that we come out stronger on the other side. Go ahead and wrap up. You mentioned the website, but go ahead and mention the website again, social media. How do we reach out and stay connected and obviously be able to book you once we can get you back out?
Yeah. You can just visit coffeecartnashville.com. Also our Instagram, Facebook, same Coffee Cart Nashville. If we ever do any sort of like public event, we'll put it on Instagram. So that's a great way just to stay connected and also get coffee inspiration. But yeah, go to our website if you want to reach out and click that check availability button. And we book very far in advance, or we also book like a week in advance. So it's kind of whatever works for people. Yeah, we're excited to kind of get some things on the calendar, hopefully.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we can help spread the word and get people to get you booked and get you on the calendar. So there's nothing more impressive than a good thing of coffee. So we appreciate you all for being on the show. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.